Welcome to the Temple of Remembrance, the sacred podcast space where the body leads, the soul speaks, and the priestess within rises. I'm Stephanie Pierce, somatic soul coach, inner child oracle, and guide in feminine embodiment. Here we reclaim our truth through movement, voice, grief, ritual, and radical presence. This isn't self-help. This is soul work. This is remembrance. Welcome to the Temple of Remembrance, where we let the body lead, the truth rise, and the soul speak without apology. This episode is part of a sacred series I call Written in the Body. Direct readings from my Substack, where the medicine is in the words, and the words are alive in the body. These aren't just essays, they're offerings. Each piece is a moment I lived through, breathed through, and now offer back to you in my voice, just as it moved through mine. So take a deep breath, let this be your pause, let this be your portal. Here's today's piece. This piece was published on August 11th, 2025. Closing a chapter feels like choking on grief, resistance, and the sacred art of release. This is the hardest thing I have ever done, and I thought I did some hard things before. This is by far the most tender. I thought about this time for so long. My emotions took me there. Most of the time, I was filled with rage, and I imagined the relief I would feel when I finally took the leap. But I took the leap, and now the grief feels deep. It's like a longing for something I know I cannot have. And I know it's not the end of something. Although it is the end of a chapter, there is a new, beautiful beginning on the horizon. It's just not here yet. It doesn't feel complete. And now I can finally tell you why. A soft announcement. I haven't publicly announced this huge shift, although some of my readers may have an idea. I needed to let it simmer for a bit and become actually real. I needed to make sure. I needed to breathe. But no matter how deeply I breathe, I still feel a tinge of pain, a little ache. Sometimes I feel like I want to throw up. Because here I am, exactly where I wanted to be, feeling excited, nervous, and completely incomplete. Because he's not here. Listening for an answer. Listening for the sacred yes. It's something I spent years working on discerning. This practice helped me make the decision you're reading about now. I spent days listening to my body, adjusting, moving, being still, crying, screaming, then listening again, so that I could know without a doubt what yes felt like in my body. Then it was time to act. I did it like ripping a Band-Aid off. I knew the time was approaching. I talked to my husband of my intentions. He saw me pack my bags. He knew. I talked to the kids. They wanted to go back too. They missed home and all the fun that came with it. They especially missed camping, fishing, and snow, the simple things that we simply couldn't find in the big, bustling concrete jungle that I was living in. So many beautiful things, though, about my life in Mexico. I met many incredible people and made friends with some people who I know truly love and care about me. So many wonderful things that no matter how much I tried, I just couldn't align with. I just couldn't appreciate them. I felt like a failure, and no amount of spiritual work, prayer, and ritual was helping, because my truth was screaming. Sometimes it comes to a point when the prayer begins to pray you. So we hopped on a plane on July 10th, all of us together, and I felt the lump in my throat, the heaviness in my chest as the plane ascended. I felt the knowing that we both knew our lives were about to change and that a chapter was now closing. Love stretched across miles. I moved back to Canada because it came to a point where I knew I had to. I could no longer ignore the ache, the resent, the rage. I didn't like who I was becoming. Bitter, distracted, not actually practicing what I was preaching, but at the same time practicing so much to keep myself from owning the truth my body held. And I didn't want to feel resentful anymore. He was doing the best he could. We both were. And I know that this is going to make us stronger. On July 29th, I drove him to the airport to go back home without me. It was the longest goodbye, the hardest hug. I silently prayed for a delay, a miracle, something, anything that would make him stay just a little longer. Why did it have to be this hard? No matter how we looked at it, this was never going to be easy. There was no easy way to make this change. Now we're 2,000 miles away from each other, across countries for the next few months, maybe 8, and every day feels like one step closer, but still too far. The next chapter in our story. My husband is over there closing the chapter for me while I begin to write our next one over here. Getting the kids settled back into our roots. Everything feels still and calm, but inside I'm still restless. He will sell everything. All the evidence that we had a life in Mexico for the past 4 years will slowly fade. I bought a car. I registered the boys for school. I started searching for employment. I'm excited to be able to work again, work face to face with people in the community, and feel like I exist somewhere again. I know this is what's best for me, and as a result, everyone in the long run. He will be here soon as he can, and we can start rebuilding together. We have goals, but we couldn't actually plan for them until I took this step, and I know that. We eventually had to make the move to start reaching those goals. A simple life, a house on the lake, a boat, something we both worked toward together. But this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And here's to new beginnings. Thanks for listening to my story. Thank you for walking this spiral with me. If this episode stirred something in you, let it move, let it root, let it rise. To go deeper into the temple, join me on Substack or in the Patreon sanctuary. Both are linked below. And if this touched your heart, share it with someone who's ready to remember too. Until next time, stay sacred, stay sovereign, stay you.